and welcome to our very first episode of Courageous Conversations with Vimbai Kapurura, proudly produced by Unlimited Eswatini. Launching a podcast for the first time is a little bit like trying a new recipe for the first time. The reality is you would hope that everything goes well, and at the same time you would hope that nothing burns in the kitchen. But today we are not cooking food. Today we are cooking ideas, we are cooking real honest conversations, and maybe a little bit of courage. And because this is our first episode, we decided to launch it around a very important global moment, which is the International Women's Day. And the International Women's Day this year is being commemorated under the theme Rights, Justice, and Action for Women and Girls. And while many conversations globally today on this day are actually focused on the progress of women, rightfully so and incredibly important, but at Women Unlimited, we believe in something equally important, that the progress of women cannot happen when men are not part of the conversation. And the reality is societies can only move forward when men and women move forward together. And Doctor, before we begin, I would like to reassure you something, that today we are not going to be diagnosing patients, but we might actually diagnose society a little bit. So I am very truly honored, and I have the pleasure of introducing a very well-respected professional, and we have spent many years, more than a decade, serving Eswatini in the medical field. Joining us today is Dr. Tembe, who is the senior medical doctor at the Mbabane Government Hospital. And through his work, he has actually seen not only the medical challenges that people face in their day-to-day lives, but he has actually seen the social and human realities that people face in their day-to-day lives, including in relationships and in our community. Welcome, Dr. Tembe, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the warm welcome, and it's exciting to be here on your very first episode.
It's nice to be the first.
Yes.
Now let's dive into it, Dr. Tembe. If we woke up tomorrow in a society where women and girls truly experience the rights, justice, and meaningful action, what would be different about the way men show up in that society?
Thank you so much, Vimbai, for that question. Before I delve into that question, I need to say that as I'm here as a man, I'm here as a husband, I'm here as someone who has ladies or girls around his life, mother, sisters. So these are my views as that person, not as it does not represent my organization. But this is such a wonderful initiative. I'll start there, that we are coming together and actually talking to one another on how we can move forward as a society. I like that initiative and that approach. So going back to the question that you've just asked about what sort of role or how men can show up in the lives of women, considering the issues of justice, considering the issues of rights. I think one of the main things that I look at as a man is that we do need to be quite supportive to our women. These are our sisters, these are our mothers, and as a man, it goes a long way when you start understanding the sort of person that you are relating to. We need to give ourselves time to learn our partners. We need to give ourselves time to learn who they are. The support that I'm talking about, basically, I'm talking about being able to sit down and actually listen and hear them out on issues that they are bringing out, and not only hearing them out, but also speaking to one another, being together and working out a way forward. I'm such a believer in relationships that we are better off, as you have mentioned, we're better off actually having those relationships that can come and be solidified by understanding of one another. The time for blaming this one or the other one, I think it's we need to move on from that. So I will not delve into what happened to boys when the movement for girls took off and whatever, because I believe that we do need to actually move forward, but move forward together with a bit of understanding for one another, and also just to make sure that we work towards the same goal. We need a society where there's safety. We need a society where people are able to speak their minds without thinking that there's going to be pushback that is going to basically deter them from speaking their mind in the future. So yeah, hopefully in all that there was an answer, but basically that's what I was talking about, that we need to actually we need to support our ladies. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tembe. I like what you said about being able to listen to one another and being able to know the other person, be it your wife. You have to understand who she is and the likes, the strengths, the weaknesses, so that you'll be able to support her in whatever she is doing and what you are doing as a couple. And also, that I believe that's the only way we can be able to co-create solutions for our societies, for our communities, even at family level. Now, moving on, I think this brings me to the next question. If women today are asking for rights, for justice and action, what kind of self-reflection do you think men themselves need to have in order for progress to actually truly happen?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting question. Now, us as men, I think we do need to sit down and actually look at the role that we have played in the atmosphere or the place where we are at when it comes to women's rights. So this means being able to come together as men to, in Siswati we say kudlinhlobo, which basically means a gathering of men talking about issues that are important in society. So our role it is important, because I believe that you need to first understand who you are, what you are about, before you can actually move forward. It's also important that we visit some of the issues or things that have become a bit stigma in the past about issues of mental health. We do need to sit down and look at how we are showing up in the world when it comes to those issues of mental health. So, and the way that mental health is going to be dealt with for men is a bit different from the way women deal with mental health. I know that sometimes ladies keep on saying that, no, you men, you are not talking. So men actually approach issues in a slightly different way.
I like what you're saying. Do you think this is because of the way men were socialized?
Yeah.
Or are socialized?
The way they process things.
Yes.
I think at some point in society, we started actually believing that things should go in one way and no other way. I mean, when I speak to actually other men, for them to actually deal with some of the mental health issues that arise, what they need to, how they need to feel. They need to feel competent. They need to feel needed. So for them, actually, if you deal with issues like that, it's actually, sitting down in front of somebody and talking about what happened when you were 5 years old. So that has its place. But for us, actually, when you find a man who wants to do a change, they need to first feel confident about themselves, So that's why we also encourage them that do something about your body. Make sure that you look after your health, so that they can get that sort of confidence. And then it then usually translates. And when they feel needed, when they feel needed, they are actually, that helps them to actually have a better outlook on life.
I think that goes back to what you said about understanding each other. If you understand what men want and also understand what women want, only then will we be able to cohabit and work together towards certain goals. Yeah. Now, let's take this a little step further, Dr. Tembe. If we really want to build a society where women and girls truly thrive, what kind of men do we need in that society? And where do we begin shaping those kinds of men?
Thank you for that question. And obviously, the type of men that we need are men that are going to first understand the women that they are around, and understanding that one, it actually takes a bit of some time for you to actually get that. So it basically comes from how you are brought up. I'm a big believer that strong men comes from strong families. And what I mean about that is that it is important that each boy gets exposed to a very good male role model in his life. The best one is obviously their father, because boys actually, when they look at their father, it's not just what the father says to the boy, but it's how the father acts. It's how the father is able to, even when they feel like there's an avalanche of things that are coming on them or things that are on their shoulder, how they are able to process that and not take it out on the people that are closest to
I like what you said about men being the role model of a boy child's life. The reality is our children don't learn from what we just say. They also learn from what we do. So we ought to be exemplary when we are showing up in our families and in our children's lives.
Yeah.
Now, let me bring this a little bit closer to home. If a young girl and a young boy in Eswatini were listening to this conversation today, what kind of society do you hope they inherit from us? What should we be teaching young boys today so that they grow up respecting and supporting women and girls?
Thank you, Vimbai, for that question. For me, I really wish our young people would grow up in a society that actually maximizes what is common between them than tearing down each of the genders, because it is not helping anyone. We do need to make our society to be more inclusive, by that meaning that both boys and girls should feel free to actually speak their minds on things that they're not happy with or they disagree with, without being shunned. Because I am that generation that grew up in an environment where literally you would actually feel that you are scared to be a man or a boy because of what the other men have done before you. And so that's what I wish for the kids. And I also want a society where we have our kids understanding that we need each other. There are things that there's the gender differences, but also there's personality differences that are there. We need to actually recognize that, okay, you and I are together, you are better at this than I am.
Exactly.
Because of your personality. If the girl is better at actually working out the finances, why should the family suffer? She can be able to, or the lady or the wife to actually work on the finances, because what we are looking at here is that we're looking at a situation where our focus is the society. What I've seen in many societies, that if the focus moves away from the society to the individuals, basically such societies, they just suffer, because you can't have you can't satisfy everyone. But if all the individuals are saying, you know what, I need to play my role, I need to play my part in making sure that the society moves forward. So that's the society that I wish that our boys can actually grow, or boys and girls grow into, and that we can actually live to them.
That's very important, Dr. Tembe. The reality is there is no need for our boys and girls to compete. I think what we need is to partner. There is no way we can build anything sustainable by competing, but through partnership. Thank you very much. Before we close, what is the one truth about men and women working together that you would actually want young boys and girls in Eswatini to grow up understanding?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think I might have alluded it to something like that in my previous response, of saying that we're better off together.
Yeah.
We're better off understanding one another. We are, even though we do things differently, but I believe that if we put our minds together and actually work for a common goal, and it's not just my belief, I've seen it in action, that if you actually find a couple that is in sync with one another, those people are unstoppable, especially because what they do is that they come together, and just the rest of the voices that are outside are just a cloud of witnesses.
That's very true.
They know that we need to move forward. And that's actually been a success of so many couples in the past, because of that being in sync with one another. So I hope our young people, as they are navigating their world, because it's not just the world where we're able to just sit down and talk to one another, but they also have this world, this online world that each of them are actually delving into. As they delve into that world, what happens is that there's algorithms that make girls see certain things, boys see certain things, and then this further just divides us. So an important role now that parents need to have, to sit down with their children. We know that you are busy, but we think that children are really what the society needs to focus on if it wants to survive further. So as parents, come and sit down with your children and actually talk to them about the issues of life and how to cooperate, how to coexist with one another.
You have heard it from Dr. Tembe. Thank you so much, Dr. Tembe. We can only move if we move forward together. And we have to stop this polarization of issues, because they will only worsen the situation that we have today. If we want sustainable equality, if we want progress, we can only do it if we move forward together. Thank you very much, Dr. Tembe. That is a very important point, because when we talk about empowering women, we sometimes forget that the environment around women must also grow, and that's the environment around where they stay, where they work, in wherever they are. It has to grow as well. Now, as we commemorate the International Women's Day, perhaps the real progress begins with conversations like the ones that we're having, like the one that we're having today. And these are conversations where we listen, where we reflect, and most importantly, where we can actually work together. So this has been Courageous Conversations with Vimbai Kapurura. Thank you so much, Dr. Tembe, for giving us insights and pouring so much reflections into these conversations, into this conversation. We appreciate you so much. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us.